a hard fought weekend against Providence, two shootout wins, heading into another tough Hockey East matchup with UMass Lowell, home and home. Just want to get your thoughts heading into that this weekend series and how everything's looking for you guys.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a challenge for us this weekend. I think Lowell's a team, if you take a look at their team, both goaltenders are under a 2.0 goals against, which is outstanding. I think Meehan anchors a great defensive core back there, and Berglund and Chambers, and they're getting really good production from the freshman Scout Truman as well. So they're a team that is extremely well coached. They very rarely beat themselves. They're always good on special teams. And it's a team that you just can't turn the puck over, because they'll capitalize and hurt you if you're careless with the puck.
Okay, we'll open up for questions. As always, just use the raise your hand emoji or type in chat, and I'll throw it up for Coach. Who wants to get us started? Go ahead, Bob.
As soon as I can take myself off of mute here, I'm not Jerry. Hey, Mike, about the two games past weekend, two very different games against the same team. I mean, is that kind of a surprise to see two completely different outcomes at each site, or is that, you don't usually expect that, I guess what I'm trying to get at.
Well, it was a similar outcome. It was just different scores.
Yeah, the games were completely different, though. Friday seemed to be bottling up the neutral zone, and then Saturday was Saturday.
I think Friday, both goaltenders were really on point. Yep. Logan made some big saves, and their guys stopped a couple breakaways. So, there was the potential to have more goals than 1-1 in that game. Both games were really hard fought, though. Very, physical, typical Providence UConn games. There was a little bit more. I think the special teams were more of a factor on Saturday. They got 2 power play goals. We didn't get credit for 2 power play goals, but we scored 2 power play goals before their guy got out of the box and back into play. So they, for all intents and purposes, they were like power play goals. So it was just sometimes that happens, and maybe it was a byproduct of it was such a physical game Friday that it was a pretty quick turnaround. And we're playing back again Saturday, on short rest.
Randy, we'll head over to you.
I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm in the car. Oh, great. How you doing, Cav?
I'm good, Randy. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. Obviously Saturday, really the whole weekend was so wild and there were so many plays. So in reviewing, especially Saturdays, beyond the obvious ones, Twerberg's goal and the big ones, was there like maybe an underrated play you could point to that really spoke to the resiliency of your team, that maybe really, was one of those moments that kind of sparked, the big comeback on Saturday in particular?
Geez, I don't know if there was one play. One of the things I talked about was I'm not sure. There was a few goals probably Arseni would want back, but he also made some big saves. He made a couple breakaway saves too that could have broken the game open to 7-4, and he kept it at 6-4, and then we were able to get the 2 extra attacker goals to tie the game up. So probably one of those breakaway saves would be a save that you look back on and saying how that was a really important save in the game.
Great. And one more is that you scored twice right at the end of the power play. So they don't go in as power play goals,
right? But
the puck movement and the setup leading up to it. How did you like how you guys moved the puck on the power play this weekend?
Yeah, it's funny because I think we're, probably where we're a little bit different than last year was I just didn't think we were as dangerous on the power play at times. Not until the end of the year we became very dangerous on the power play. But there was stretches in the middle of the year, the beginning of the year, we weren't really dangerous. I think we've been, 90% of the time we have the puck in the other team's zone on the power play. We haven't really, to this point, had a tough time entering the zone with the puck. It's just been, we haven't got the production that we probably should for the amount of time that we've had the puck in the zone. So that's probably us, having to get more pucks to the net. It might be a little bit too perimeter, and, possession, without penetration is no good. So we got to get more pucks penetrating down towards the net and bodies retrieving them and rebound goals. I think some ugly power play goals instead of looking for that tic-tac-toe goal.
Okay. Thank you. I'll see you Saturday, and good luck Friday.
Sounds good.
Go ahead, Dan.
How are you doing health-wise going into the weekend, or at least as of Thursday morning?
We're good, Dan. We're good.
Bob, go ahead.
That's it. Wow, Dan, that's it. Wow. Hey, Mike, what about John Spetz's development? What have you seen in his game that has really impressed you this year as he's taken the next step?
Well, I think he's always been a very good two-way defenseman. I think that he's got himself in better shape than he's been in past years, because he plays a lot of minutes for us. He's a power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5. He's normally one of our top guys at the end of the night in time on ice. So to play those minutes, you have to be in good shape. And I think he's done a better job of getting himself in shape this year.
Coach, go ahead, Dan. You're muted, Dan.
I was just going to say, with some of the freshmen that have played most of the games, the Messinios, the Matthew Woods, Tristan Frazier's, Jake Percival's, at this point in the season, it's been 13 games. Do they feel like they don't necessarily, I guess, play like freshmen at this point? It seems like they're already kind of veteran players, even though they've been here a little more than a month, or playing a little more than a month.
Yeah, that's a great question. You always hope that happens sooner than later for freshmen. I'm sure that they'll still go through some growing pains at some point during the season. They haven't played every opponent yet, and they haven't played in every rink yet. So that's always sometimes interesting, but they've acclimated themselves pretty well, Dan. I've been very happy with the way they've contributed to our team. And I have to give a lot of credit to our older guys too. They've done an excellent job preparing them, for each weekend. Our team will talk about the opponent in the locker room. I'll let the kids talk about the opponent, and like some of the older guys, and say, hey, tell the younger guys what to expect here. So we try to prepare them so when they walk into the Songus on Friday night, they have a pretty good idea of what the building's going to be like, what the crowd's going to be like, what the opponent, how they play. So we try to prepare them the best we can, but there's no substitute for actual experience. And they've been gaining that, week by week. I think they feel very comfortable with the system of play, and they're very comfortable understanding the expectations of our program. So in that aspect, or in that respect, I would say that, you don't look at them as freshmen now. They, as you alluded to, we're 13 games in. After this weekend, we're almost halfway through our schedule. So it's the expectations from the coaching staff and their peers and the players are that they contribute on a nightly basis.
And not that there's ever an easy place to play in Hockey East, but is there one away game where it feels like you haven't played there until you've played there, and talking about it isn't good enough?
Yeah, there's always those places. it's funny. They're all kind of unique in their own way. Like Saugus, they get great crowds. It's always a hard-nosed. I feel like if we look back, I was looking at it the other day. I think 6 of our last 7 games against them have been 1-goal games. So you got to be comfortable playing in a 1-goal game, or a tight game or a tied game. And I think that's a strength of UMass Lowell. They're very comfortable playing in those games. So that's going to be something our players have to get used to. Certainly Alphonse Arena is a tough one up in Maine. You've been up there, Dan. It's a unique atmosphere up there. So they all present their own challenges. We'll have to go to Merrimack in a few weeks, and that's also another barn that's really tough to play in. So, but at the same token, it's exciting for me. I think it's great. I love all those different challenges that each team and their arena provides.
We'll head over to Thomas. Go ahead, Thomas.
Hey, Coach. My name's Thomas Cinzarella. I'm broadcasting the game on Friday for UMass Lowell. Just kind of scouting UMass Lowell a little bit as well, more of a balanced attack for them this year. Is there a certain player or a certain line you guys are kind of keying on upon, or something you've seen in the film session so far?
Well, I think you have a very accurate description of their team. It's always been a balanced attack at Lowell. Even when they had CJ Smith or, some of their, or Anders Lee, they always had a Soderquist or, like this year, Berglund's an outstanding player. I think Chambers is a great player. You go up and down their lineup and they present challenges for you because it's not like you feel like, all right, we're going to put this line on Berglund and try to shut Berglund down, because the other lines can hurt you just as much. As I said earlier, I think they're one of the best teams in our league where they just don't beat themselves. They don't make, they don't turn the puck over in bad spots. They're very well coached and balanced with their approach.
Harrison, a couple weeks ago when you scored your goal, was that coming out of the box? What was that, the main game?
BC game.
BC game. All right.
Yep.
I mentioned it on Twitter that you hadn't scored in 30 games, and Yakum comes back and starts dissing me for mentioning that here. What's the relationship like with the guys that you still keep in contact with, the guys that played before and some of the guys that you learned a lot of things from?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, guys like Yakum Kondelik, Wyatt Newpower. I know Wyatt came back in the summer, so it's just we see a lot of guys who built the program up to where it is today. A lot of those guys are still my good friends, so just keeping in touch with them and seeing how well they do at the next level. It's really nice to see, and nice as a friend to watch them grow as people and see what they did with the program and just keep their legacy going throughout. So
yeah, you got to be psyched. I mean, Wyatt's come a long way, and I mean he's getting sniffs at the big club in Detroit.
Yeah, it's really good to see. I mean, we see how hard Newey works each summer. He likes to come back and work out with Mo too. So we see how hard he works in the summer, taking time away from his family to work out with Mo. So it pays off in the long run for sure.
Does that rub off on you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been back pretty much every summer. I spent my COVID summer down here as well. I see a little bit of my game and his game, so it's nice to kind of follow his lead and kind of do what he's doing.
Thanks.
Dan, we'll head over to you.
You've got Andrew Lucas on the blue line this season, who's second on the team in points. What's it like having a guy with so much offensive punch in his game in your defensive core who can also contribute pretty well on the defensive end?
Yeah, it's great. Just starting off the year playing with Andrew, I think we built a lot of chemistry, and he's very offensive, but like you said, he's solid on the D end as well. So it's easy. We've kind of got a good thing going, I think, where we can move pucks to each other. We know where each other are, and been really fun. And I think it's been really easy to play with them too. So, which makes my life a lot easier, and I hope I'm making his life a little bit easier as well.
Are there any, quirks to playing two right-handed defensemen or being two right-handed defensemen on the ice at the same time, or do you not really notice it?
It's noticeable just going D to D in the offensive zone and the neutral zone. I kind of got to double check to make sure where he wants it, whether it's on his backhand or if he's opened up on his forehand. Other than that, I think we're pretty solid. I mean, if we end up switched on the ice, we're not in a huge rush to get back to our sides, which is good. We're both pretty comfortable playing on our sides. So, yeah, I think we've been really good together.